Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review. This is another paid request, this time from Alban. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, wherever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. But this is for the 2004 remake of The Manchurian Candidate. Now, I didn't watch the original. I know of it. I know bits and pieces of it. I've seen bits and pieces. Frank Sinatra being in it. But I have seen this before, but it's been a while. It's directed by Jonathan Demme, who did Silence of the Lambs. He did Philadelphia. It has a really good cast. You got Denzel Washington as your star, Liev Schreiber, good actor, Meryl Streep. You also have Jeffrey Wright, who was in the new Batman movie. You have, in bit parts, Miguel Ferrer, Ted Levine, Jon Voight. Even at the very beginning, as one of the soldiers, you have Anthony Mackie, who would later be Falcon in the Captain America movies. Pretty much in the Gulf War, Denzel is a major. Or I guess later he'd be a major. He maybe wasn't a major at that point. But anyway, he's with this group. Jeffrey Wright, Anthony Mackie, other people, including Liev Schreiber. They get attacked in the Gulf War. Then it cuts 2 years later, and Liev Schreiber is running for Congress, is running for vice president, actually. And his mom is played by Meryl Streep, who was a senator of her own. And Liev Schreiber's character is labeled as a hero, that he single-handedly saved his men. But then Denzel, while he's talking in a not really a meeting, but he's like talking to Boy Scouts about his experience in the military, and he meets Jeffrey Wright. And Jeffrey Wright's not doing too well, and he talks about how he's seeing these dreams, and he has these nightmares, these visions. And then Denzel starts having them. And you come to find out that they're in Kuwait. There may have been a part of brainwashing. The premise of the gist of it is that the men might have been caught and brainwashed into, number one, thinking Liev Schreiber was a hero, that we repeat what you guys tell us, and also this type of brainwashing to do what they want us to do later on. And the movie's a bit long. It's a little over 2 hours. It is. I do think the cast carries the movie on their shoulders and make the film, at the very least, watchable. You know, Denzel, as this major, and you see him losing his cool and be a bit more disturbed as the movie's going along. Liev Schreiber, he's a character that's a tragic character because, he doesn't quite know what's going on, and then when he realizes, like, there's a good moment where he's tearing up, and he's talking with Denzel. Like, we were friends, right? Like, we were friends. And then Denzel's talking to him, and Liev's like, "Man, you're not as smart as I hoped you were. You don't think they factored you in?" Like, he hates saying this, but like he has to. But at the same time, inside, he does not like this at all. And I thought, again, that made for a character that just was tragic. He didn't want this, but he's forced into doing this. I said Denzel's having these weird visions. He'll see people with headshots on their forehead, and he meets with this lady played by Kimberly Elise. Beautiful lady. She does a good job. And pretty much this slow reveal of these implants that were in his back, or what really happened back then. Again, if it wasn't for the cast, I would say in a way this was mediocre, because it's not bad, but this is a film that, like I said, I saw before, but I never felt the need to rewatch a lot. I can't quite put my fingers on why that is. Again, the cast does a good job, but it's just, it's not an action film, so you're not going to get a lot of like. There's not a lot of intensity that I've felt. There's not a lot of fear that I've felt. There's not a lot of being gripped by the story or by the script where what's going to happen next? I don't know if I would go so far as saying it's predictable, but it was just a better reviewer could probably express why that is, but to me, something about it. Emoji is okay, but it did feel a bit long, and it was mainly going along just to see these actors work and do their jobs well. Because it's not like the score was impressive one way or another. It's not like the direction, other than, a few bits where people taught to you looking at the camera as they looked at each other to give a little bit more of that paranoid feeling to it. Like the Denzel, I like him as an actor. He definitely helps carry the film. This is just conjecture. Hey, I started with nightmares and rumors. Conjecture is a step up. Actually, say I started with nightmares, rumors, and conjectures. Now that's a step up for me. Kimberly Elise. Well, this is spoilers. Spoilers starting now. You find out that she's with the FBI, and I guess her company knew there was this brainwashing thing going on. I guess I found that a little bit convenient, because that makes her believe in Denzel much easier. It makes the ending feel a bit more wrapped up in a nice bow. It wasn't like a big problem with me, but it's like, oh, okay, well, like no one ever bothered to talk with Denzel before this, that you think Manchurian did this, and like no one ever bothered to investigate Denzel before this, because it seems like it's been some years since. And it made me, I don't know if they were explained how Kimberly Elise and these people knew that there was something going on. I guess because some of the other men had died. Like Jeffrey Wright, he kind of disappears. I mean, you hear that he's been killed, but maybe it would have been nice if like Jeffrey Wright and Denzel would work together. Because Jeffrey Wright's a good actor. Or I'm surprised they didn't have like a reporter who's been investigating some stuff, and then he learns into this, and kind of like the Pelican Brief, where you had Julia Roberts and Denzel, and like one was a reporter and one knew more what was going on. It's them working together. So I'm surprised they didn't put like a reporter character, and those looking into this mystery and looking into this background, what was going on. Like if you had a reporter played by, I don't know, Tom Hanks, or I think of Philadelphia, which him and Denzel worked together, or if it was a James Spader or that type of reporter. Or maybe it was like a bit more of these terrorists being hunted down, whether some foot chases, but they don't need to do that, because I'm surprised they didn't try to get to Denzel sooner, because he's been brainwashed. Like right at first when he started asking questions, I'm surprised they didn't. Well, I guess they were saving him up for a later circumstance. So I guess that's why they didn't try to stop or kill him before. But I was surprised they didn't at least try to. Because in super spoilers, Liev Schreiber goes up and says, "You don't think they factored you in?" And he gets a phone call, and he's like, "This is for you." I don't know why Denzel takes the phone call, I think that was kind of a stupid moment for his character. Like, he knows something's going on. He knows there's a bit of brainwashing. But I guess technically he doesn't know how that happens. So he doesn't know there's a trigger for it, like what the trigger is. So I guess that's why. But I'm like, this guy wants you to take a phone call in this series. Like, after he says you don't think they factor you in, and then, oh, here's a phone call, take it. I'd be like, I'm not sure about taking this phone call. But then they make Denzel into a killer as well. For the setup at the end where he's going to assassinate a guy running up against Liev Schreiber, and then, he's supposed to kill himself. I guess I'm surprised they didn't do that and just tell him, like, sit down, be quiet, don't ask questions, forget about this, whatever it may be. I'm surprised they didn't try to do that earlier in the film. Do you think there were parts in the film they would try to do that with Denzel, at least to keep him more quiet or more controlled? But, I don't know. I guess they were just waiting for their moment. The ending, I didn't mind, because I thought it brought a bit more to Liev Schreiber's character. Again, this is super spoilers, where he had been forced to kill this woman he loved, and that's why during that conversation with Denzel, he's tearing up. He's like, did I? Did I? Yeah, I think so. You have these weird dreams, these scary dreams, but it's like, that can't be true, right? Like, Liev Schreiber sold it, and then at the end and Meryl Streep, I should mention her, she is just so fearmonger, tyrannic, manipulative, evil lady. Like, definitely one of the most evil characters Meryl Streep has ever played. Just a villain you love to hate. Just so manipulative and just so for her own good. She says for her son, but it's purely for her own good. Just a villain you just fucking want to see her get her comeuppance. But Meryl Streep is a good actress, and you definitely hate that character for good reason. But Liev Schreiber's dancing with her, but then he gets to the spot where the other guy's supposed to be, and he looks up at Denzel, and there's this nice connection between Liev and Denzel, where Denzel, almost as if he snaps out of it for a second, or long enough to realize what Liev wants him to do. And so, again, it's like a moment where, again, the two characters connect, and Liev, with this nod and look, kind of snaps Denzel out, at least for a moment, in order to shoot the two of them instead of the target. And then Kimberly stops Denzel, and then the truth is more out. As someone always says, there's always casualties in war, sir. Even though he's safe, the memories will always be there. So the Manchurian Candidate, again, I don't think it was as tense or as thrilling as it could have been. I do think there's about, 10-15 minutes that could be trimmed out of it. But the cast definitely makes it at least worth a watch. And I don't think it's a bad film at all. Of Denzel films, it's not a film I rewatch a lot. But, like I said, not a bad... It's kind of a film forgotten. Like, when that name popped, I'm like, oh yeah, that did exist. One of those type of films. Let's say, it's not a film that's really remembered a lot, understandably so. But, like I say, it's not that bad of a film. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.